YouTube. So the last video about do record companies rip you off and how much does Spotify actually pay in royalties kind of did okay, and people had some pretty good follow-up questions. So I was hoping to address some of those in this video today. Let's give them a whirl, and forgive me for looking at my phone, but I don't have a teleprompter and I don't take particularly good notes. So let's see what we have. All right, so this one is from Extreme Shoelace. He or they ask, so I woke up still thinking about this video and wanted to ask, could you do a comparison between other streaming services? Spotify versus Tidal versus maybe Apple Music. I hear that Tidal is best for artists. So our record Malo, which was released on Wiretap Records back in 2018, 19, somewhere around there. We use Distrokid, which I would highly recommend. You have to pay a small fee annually. However, it gives you really good metrics about how much each song is getting. And then it's a simple PayPal transfer over to you. If you want to divvy it out from the band, you could have different folks getting certain percentages. And it's, I think, a really, really cool service. So since September of 2018, Malo has generated $2,685.67. And if we go to breakdown by service, this lists, God, what looks about 50 of them in alphabetical order. So Apple Beats One Radio, $0. DJ Mix, 0. Apple Fitness Plus, $0. Although, what the hell, we're Audio Karate, dude. Like, I work out all the time. You think we would have some Apple Fitness Plus dollars. Okay, so let's get to the big ones. Apple Music, $461.37. iTunes, $370.37. iTunes Songs, $37.75. iTunes Match. I have no clue what any of these are. I didn't realize there was so many streaming services within the Apple universe. $2.75. Pandora's $9.41. Deezer, don't know what that is, $6.41. Tidal, $6.91. So at least with the Audio Karate demographic, which tends to be male and 35 to 45 years of age, Tidal is not doing really, really well. YouTube ads, $50.41. YouTube Red, $93.64. Google Play is at $24 and some change. Google Play All Access, $46.86. Amazon for downloads, $88.57. All right. Amazon Unlimited streaming is $106.72. Napster, I didn't realize that was still a thing, was $5.63. iHeartRadio, a whopping 45 cents. TikTok, big bad 4 cents. Facebook, $1.58. That's what's up. And let's get to where's Spotify on here? Spotify, $1,371.78. So now what this doesn't give you a breakdown of is, does Spotify pay the most, or does Spotify have the most streams? Therefore, even if it's a smaller amount, they're giving you more money at the end of the day. Unfortunately, these metrics don't break it down. Anecdotally, I do get our iTunes metrics, and I do see our Spotify, and Spotify clearly blows iTunes out of the water. Like, there's songs where it's like, oh, Drama Club Romance has finally hit 10,000 streams in, I don't know, Italy or something like that. But if you look at Spotify, like, that one's well over 100,000 streams, right? So yeah, there you go. That hopefully answers your question, Extreme Shoelace, and thank you so much for the comment and for watching the videos. Yeah. All right, so this one is from PBREC or PBREC211, and he says, or they say, really interesting video. I have some stupid questions. No stupid questions. Using Space Camp as an example, you said the label paid you guys $20K to record the album. Was a portion of that same $20K used to fund the subsequent tours? If not, how did you guys fund touring? And where would money come from for everyday needs, life, bills, etc.? Were you guys working side jobs? Thank you so much, dude. Your content is fascinating. Thank you. All right, so a couple questions in there. So the first one, was a portion of that same $20K used to fund the subsequent tours? No. That was strictly for the album. So we had with Kung Fu a 3-album guarantee deal with an option for a 4th, and I believe the option belonged to Kung Fu, if I recall correctly. I could dig the contract up, but I just haven't looked at it in years. So that means first record was $20K, second was $30K, first was $20K, second was $30K, third would have been $30K, $30 to $40K, top end of the budget. And then if we had 3 albums, we'd probably be doing, in theory, decent. and there would be a vested interest for the label to put out our next record. That fourth one would have been $100,000, which was some righteous coin in early 2000 dollars. So no, that was separate, and Kung Fu was really supportive about the touring, particularly internationally. The Vandals took us overseas. We went overseas on our own once. We went with Vandals and the Ataris to the UK and to Europe. We went to Japan with Tsunami Bomb. We went to Japan on the Warped Tour, and we didn't pay for none of that because, to get to your second question, if not, how did you guys fund touring? We kind of blew my college money. So I didn't go to college, and my parents were oddly supportive of that, and they said, hey, we squirreled away a little bit of money. This is probably the money we would have given you had you elected to go to college. So how about we just give it to you, and then you and your burnout friends can play the punk rock music and drive around and live in a van. We lived on shoestring budgets on tour. We rarely got motel rooms. We would rely on the generosity of people allowing us to sleep on their couches and living room floors. And if you are one of those people, I am eternally in your debt. And those were some of the most character-defining moments of my young formative years. In terms of day jobs, I didn't have a job during the Audio Karate years. We spent enough time touring, and I lived at home because, I don't need a job. My mama take care of me. Justo worked at AutoZone or like O'Reilly Auto Parts or something like that briefly, and then he worked for Rosemead Parks and Rec as like a youth director kind of guy. Art worked at Little Caesars Pizza for a bit, and Gabriel, I don't think had a job during sort of the Audio Karate years, but we made enough between show pay and merch to get us to the next town. I was fiercely on top of the money. So it was like, hey, can I get $5 for this? I was like, hell no, you can get $5 for nothing. And we just held on to the money at the end of the tour, and we would just use that for the subsequent tour. Yeah, and then finally, where would money come from for everyday needs, life, bills? Dude, we were 20, 21 years old. There was no medical insurance. Like at that age, you were indestructible, so you don't need none of that stuff. Now we all have like careers proper, which is why Audio Karate does maybe 10 to 12 shows a year. And if we can do like a 3-day run on a weekend, that's like, whew, exhausting. But super cool questions. Thank you for those. This one's also from Extreme Shoelace. Dude, this whole video is now dedicated to you. Thank you so much for the comments. Would you be willing to talk a little more about why you put the guitar down for 10 years? I always looked up to you as a guitarist when I was a kid, and I set my guitar down mostly for about 18 years, really picking up again only last year. For me, I convinced myself that the things I wanted were childish and unrealistic, and I needed to do what I, quote, was supposed to do and grow up. Didn't realize I didn't have to give everything up to do that dumb mistake. Yeah, so when I hit 25 or so, we had put out Lady Melody, and we had done like 300 shows in support of it. And I don't know, man, like that was really hard for me. You'd have to ask Art or Justo, or maybe I'll call them one of these days and ask them. But I know for me, that's all I had to give. I thought, this is a cool record. I cannot write a better song. We could not perform it better. It could not be produced better. Surely this will resonate and will kind of take us from lower tier Warped Tour band to like occasional sort of main stage, pushing the envelope sort of band. And that didn't really happen. Part of it was probably because of us. We never had formal management. We were pretty, I wouldn't say difficult to work with, but we were very clear about like, no, we're not going to get lip rings and like swooshy alternative press hair and look like dorks. We're going to just do what we do. And if it resonates and takes off, it's cool, but we are not going to be brand new or Fall Out Boy or like try to do something that seems disingenuous for us, which is fine. But it is a business, and those things, and there are people who say like, hey, if you do these things, you in turn can likely be more commercially successful and marketable in music. So when that happened, I was kind of burned out and disillusioned, and then got in my own head and put some of my own pressures on me of, well, my brother bought a house at like 21, I'm 25, and I live in a van with Justo. Like maybe I should get a real job. So to your point, like that's kind of it. And it was really just also, the writing was on the wall that we probably weren't going to be, a Warped Tour main stage kind of band. and be able to have sort of a middle class existence from doing music. And I couldn't just casually do it. And then when I decided to sort of move on from music, like I love it and I love Audio Karate and the guys so much, it was almost like having to divorce it. I couldn't like part-time do it because there is no part-time Audio Karate for me. Like it's all or nothing in my brain. That's just how it works. Like I don't even really listen to music much because I can't casually listen to music. Like it has to be an all-encompassing thing. I don't like it. It's not background stuff. Like it's immersive. So I just didn't play. And I sold all my music equipment to buy a house. So then fast forward a bunch of years and you accomplish all those things that you think you're supposed to do by a certain time period in one's life. And then you're like, well, cool, this is okay. I really miss kind of just having fun and hanging out with my guys and playing songs though. And for that, I am like infinitely thankful to Rob at Wiretap, because I don't think had he reached out, Art and I certainly weren't on bad terms, but we weren't hanging out or talking much. And he hit me up like, hey dude, are you okay if Audio Karate puts out this record? I'm like, yeah, of course. I don't think anyone will buy it. And he's like, yeah, apparently people will. Do you want to do some shows to support it though? And then it was like, yeah, game on. And as trite as it sounds, like the first time we rehearsed together, it's like, oh yeah, dude, this is just a part of me that I haven't felt in a long time and was sort of missing. So that's it. That's enough mushy stuff. But thank you for that question. So I got a package in the mail the other day, and this is from the fine folks at Double Helix Records. Of course, I don't carry a pocket knife because I'm not a weirdo, but let's see if I can't tear this open. Yeah, dude. And let's see what, oh wow. So there are CDs, which I have a several old vehicle. We have Bridge the Gap, our homie M with Survival Guide at Death Dreams, super cool, and Jason DeVore. Look at that beard, I like that. Thank you guys so much. And we also have coasters, thought they might be air fresheners, stickers, and oh dude, a ball cap, and buttons. Geez, this is the most generous thing. Look at that hat, dude. How sick is that? A tank top, because, you know, you got to be on brand, because they know I'm about having guns and stuff. And oh, yeah, dude. And a medium. All right, let's see. We'll throw on the tank top and see what's up. Yeah, dude, that's a good fit. This is definitely, yeah, dude, that's a good fit. This is definitely getting worn at the gym. So Double Helix, thank you so very much. And if you happen to own a record label and you're watching this video, you should probably send me some free merch too, because I would greatly appreciate it. I mean, dude, I'm wearing 10-year-old Audio Karate t-shirts. Look at this thing. Look at the print on the back. How ghetto is that? All right, that's it for today. Thank you guys.